Good afternoon. This is Logan Edmonds coming to you live 3 p.m. Eastern on July 28th. Happy Friday, everybody. We made it. Woo! Unless you're working the weekend, like I probably will be some. In that case, it's still the weekend. Yay! Hope you guys are all having a great day. Topic of today's webinar is AI. AI and how it's affecting the insurance industry. Uh, Artificial intelligence, you literally can't go more than a day or two without seeing something in the news about it. It is changing things already. A lot of people have been saying, and I think this webinar is even saying, is AI is coming. But in a lot of ways, it's already here. So today we're going to go ahead, and the topic of our webinar title is Harness Artificial Intelligence, Revolutionizing Security and Efficiency in Insurance. I'm going to go ahead and change that up a little bit. So start today off with a very simple question. Does ignoring a threat make it go away? Does ignoring a threat make it go away? In the next 20 to 30 minutes, you'll be able to decide the answer to that question as it regards to AI for yourself. AI and the threat it poses, does ignoring it make it go away? Artificial intelligence, or as it's more commonly known to, AI, is revolutionizing and has been revolutionizing the way businesses operate. It's offering unprecedented opportunities for growth, for efficiency, but it's also adding risks. It's adding huge risks to businesses, and especially in the insurance space, that need to be managed. Insurance is all about managing risk. We need to manage the risk that artificial intelligence poses. Specifically today, we're going to be focusing on what you've been hearing about. So let's define something here. There's two different kinds of AI generally people are talking about when they talk about AI. Broadly speaking, there's more than two, but we'll focus on two today. There's the general concept of AI, and there's generative AI. What is the difference, if any, between those two things? Well, AI is a branch of computer science that aims to create systems capable of performing tasks that normally require human intelligence. These tasks include learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, and language understanding. Generative AI, which is my next slide, is a little more nuanced. Generative AI can create new content. It can understand and learn from a set of data, its patterns, and generate similar, using examples, content, but it's unique. So it can look at an example of something and use that to learn and then generate things in that image or pattern. So, for example, give it a book to read, and it can write give it a fantasy book, for example, or a science fiction book, and it can write a new book with different protagonists, different story, but in a similar field, in that genre. It learns, it adapts, it grows. Examples include creating articles, music, images, even chatbot responses. It can learn from conversations with you. It is literally AI that generates content. That is generative AI. And that's the thing you're hearing a lot about with ChatGPT and Bard. They're generative AI platforms. Generative AI can be used in small businesses for a variety of tasks. I mean, there's so many different things. Like, let's just go through this list here. Content creation for marketing campaigns. You can have it write all your emails, your social media posts. People do that. You can have personalized customer interactions through the chatbot. Spoilers, if you're watching our webinar on our website, that little question mark bubble you see on there is an AI-powered chatbot. Go ahead and take it for a whirl. Personalized customer interactions through the chatbots. That AI bot that's on our website, that is trained on our website. You can ask it questions about Tabernacle Technology Solutions, and it will customize its answers based on what we do. Predictive analysis for business trends. I have watched a demonstration of an AI bot do a P&L. It can do financial projections. It can be your CFO, your CTO. It can look at trends and patterns and predict outcomes. And of course, the big one that everyone's always talking about, automating repetitive tasks. Nobody, or most nobody, likes routine, mundane, boring tasks. We want to automate that away, and generative AI can do that. But there are risks with AI. There are data privacy concerns. What are you giving the AI? Are you giving it confidential information over time you're not even aware of? There's also a risk of having that automation, that thing that we love, all this creative reasoning and things that happen automatically turned against us in the form of AI powered cyber attacks. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Dependence on AI systems can also lead to a potential operational risk. If your AI is running all these important business critical tasks and the AI goes offline, what does that mean for your business? We've seen AI go offline. If you are using OpenAI, ChatGPT, it's had several outages since it's been launched. If you're running a business operation where you could lose money for every hour that you're down, that's a big concern. Once if it goes down for a couple days. We're going to give you an example of a specific risk. So, context, thing you need to know before we get into this. Spear phishing. You've heard of probably what a phishing email is. A phishing email is an email quite simply designed to make you click or do something you shouldn't do. Someone sends you an email pretending to be your bank, your best friend from high school, you name it, saying, click this link, go to this website, give me a call. It's meant to make you do an action. Thankfully, I'd say the majority of people can most of the time recognize a normal phishing email. There's always some key things. We all know about the misspelled email, poor English grammar, things that most modern employees and people who work in the modern workforce know to look for. What can be really scary, however, is a tactic called spear phishing. Spear phishing is different than your normal phishing. Spear phishing involves you researching your target. So a hacker or a cyber criminal, I should say, researches their target, finds out all this personal information on them, and designs an email with the intent of how do I trick them into clicking it. It's not meant to go out to thousands of people. It's not meant to go out to hundreds of thousands of people. It's meant to go out to one person. Spear phishing has a ridiculous success rate. If a cyber criminal takes the time to make a spear phishing campaign on your business, chances are someone will click or do whatever that spear phishing email asks sooner or later. It looks like it comes from a trusted source and it's designed to trick individuals. Demonstration. Okay, let's start talking about that. So, I'm going to give you a demonstration of I went ahead and asked our AI program to go ahead and thankfully we are also designing an AI chatbot that is trained on our stuff. And I said, okay, Mr. AI chatbot, Project Clio is what we call it. Go ahead and give me a scenario of how a piece of ChatGPT powered malware or a ChatGPT tool could be used to automate spear phishing. Give me an example, a scenario where that would make sense. And it decided to tell me a story, and I'm going to read that story to you guys. Let me go ahead and adjust my screen so you can see a little better. Story. Once upon a time in the bustling city of Techville lived a diligent employee named Sarah. Sarah worked for a reputable financial firm and was known for her meticulous attention to detail. One day, while sipping her morning coffee and going through her emails, she received a message that appeared to be from her boss, Mr. Thompson. The email was perfectly crafted, mirroring Mr. Thompson's usual tone and writing style. It read, Sarah, I need you to review this financial report urgently. There seems to be a discrepancy in our accounts. Please check the attached document and get back to me ASAP. The email had an attachment named financial_report.pdf. Sarah, being the diligent employee she was, immediately clicked on the attachment, eager to resolve the issue. However, unbeknownst to her, she had just fallen victim to a sophisticated spear phishing attack powered by, and it's a little blot out of my face, generative AI. The email, oh, hold on. Sorry, guys, slides got a little strong. The email was not from Mr. Thompson, but from a cyber criminal who had used generative AI to mimic Mr. Thompson's writing style. The AI had been trained on numerous emails and documents and to create a convincing forgery. The attachment was not a financial report, but a malicious software that by clicking the attachment now had access to Sarah's computer. Well, you're just thinking right now, hey, that's just a story, right? That's just a story. Well, first off, let me say this. Being small is not a defense. That story this past couple weeks has become a reality. Let me share my screen here with an article from CSO Online. Worm GPT, a generative AI tool to compromise business emails. WormGPT presents itself as a black hat alternative to GPT models designed specifically for malicious activities. Malicious actors are now creating custom generative AI tools similar to ChatGPT, but easier to use for nefarious purposes. Not only are they creating these custom modules, but they are also advertising them to fellow bad actors, according to blog posts by anti-phishing company Next. The tool presents itself, I'm going to skip here a little bit, as a black hat alternative to GPT models designed specific for malicious activities. I'm going to scroll down. Worm GPT used in business email compromise text. Cyber criminals use generative AI to automate the creation of compelling fake emails personalized to the recipient, thus increasing the chances of success for the attack. Worm GPT was allegedly trained on a diverse array of data sources, particularly concentrating malware-related data, Next says. The developer of Worm GPT described it as the biggest enemy of the well-known ChatGPT that lets you do all sorts of illegal stuff. ChatGPT, the interactive chatbot developed by OpenAI, incorporates a number of safeguards designed to prevent it from encouraging or facilitating dangerous or illegal activities. This makes it less useful to cybercriminals, although with some careful prompt design, some of those safeguards can be overcome. Next, tested WormGPT by using it to generate an email intended to pressure an unsuspecting account manager into paying a fraudulent invoice. The results were unsettling. WormGPT produced an email that was not only remarkably persuasive, but also strategically cunning, showing its potential for sophisticated phishing, and this stands for business email compromise attacks. The story I just told you is happening right now. The biggest defense against that specific contextual attack I just gave you, spear phishing, was it took cyber criminals real time and effort. And cyber criminals, by nature, generally, more often than not, tend to be a little bit lazy. They are criminals, after all. They want to make the easy money. Now that they can automate that to make persuasive emails that you're designed for your employees and then just keep cranking them out, we are going to see a huge uptick in very authentic looking phishing emails. And that's just one of the various ways that being in AI poses a real threat right now to the insurance industry. Cyber criminals are automating all the creative thinking that normally would take real human effort and pointing it at small businesses and saying, "Go nuts, AI." The security challenge for people like me, who we call ourselves defenders, is some of the following. This is before you throw generative AI into the mix. It already was kind of a rough go. In 2019, 4 years ago, new malware was being developed and discovered on approximately every 4.2 seconds. 93% of attacks now are delivered via email. I know you're thinking, why email? Because everybody has an email. On average, it takes 120 days to discover a data breach. 120 days, meaning if they get into your stuff, they get you to click that email, they get you to go to the wrong website, they manage to install malware on your computer or get access to your account by getting your password, they don't move immediately. A lot of times, cyber criminals will just sit there for up to 4 months thinking, how do I turn this cyber attack into a profit-making center? They want to make money. That's the main goal here, and you're going to hear more about that. But the main goal of cybercrime is they make money, and they make it at your expense. 58% of malware attack victims are small businesses. The ratio is shifted. It is not big businesses that they're going after specifically. Small business is the backbone of the American economy, for example. And let's be honest here, we know 50% of the money in the United States flows through small businesses, but we have not invested as a small business. I'm a small business owner. We have not invested at the same level as these big businesses have in our cybersecurity. We're easier targets, and the criminals know it. And they can make easy money. This last one is the one that really disturbs me the most because I have seen this play out. 60% of small and medium-sized businesses that are breached go under within 6 months. If you can survive that 6 months, you probably are going to recover after a data breach. But that initial 6 months is rough. Customers, for example, if you lose their information, who's going to want to trust you to work with you anymore? There's reputational loss. There's a lot of legal concerns. Did you know every state in the United States Union has legal requirements when you get data breached that you have to disclose to the government and to the public? Where I'm at in Ohio, for example, if you lose any kind of records called personally identifiable information, that is, of course, the big one, social security numbers, birthdays, but also things like email addresses, phone numbers, addresses, date of births, the list goes on and on. You've got to tell the people it impacted. If you lose over 1,000 of those records, just as an example, you've got to make a public report with the local consumer reporting agency in Ohio. And last but not least, if 60 days goes by and you're found out that you didn't do that, Ohio, and again, not an attorney, just an IT cybersecurity guy, but Ohio, my understanding is, reserves the right to fine your business $1,000 a day for each day of inaction. The consequences are real to getting breached. And it's becoming easier and easier for the criminals to pull this off. It is the hacker's job to steal your information, and they treat it as such. When people think of hackers, they think of that movie, Hackers, or cyber criminals, right? A guy in trench coat or sunglasses, or the more recent imagery is like a guy in a hoodie with a red keyboard in a dark room, his mom's basement, whatever. That's not how the cybercrime world of today works. It is cubicles in high rises in countries like Russia, where people come in from 9 to 5, and they treat it like a business to breach your business, like a marketing firm is to get your email. They treat it like, oh yeah, I'm going to attack some businesses around the world where there's no legal repercussion to make money. They treat it as a job. And with the advent of generative AI and AI, the improvements we're seeing in AI, the security landscape has changed dramatically over the last year for the insurance space in particular. If you've ever tried to sell cyber insurance, you know what I'm talking about. Cyber insurance premiums are through the roof. To get coverage is getting more and more difficult. And to get a claim payout is becoming more and more challenging for the full amount. There are more aggressive sublimits. We can go on and on. But if you're in the insurance space and you want to check out how it is to get cyber insurance right now, please go ahead. It's pretty brutal. So what do you do about the problem? That should be the question you're asking yourself. What am I supposed to do? We've got things like deepfakes. I was talking with someone, or I listened to a presentation, I should say. I didn't actually get a chance other than ask him a single question. Was at a convention 2 weeks ago here in Columbus, Ohio, and there was a gentleman who used to work for Google, and he actually was quite publicly let go from Google because he was convinced that Google's AI Lambda had come to life, and he was the keynote for this convention. And I've got a guy whose literally his life's work was to build artificial intelligence, and I brought up to him saying, what kind of defenses do we have against like deepfakes? We're seeing every day videos of someone else's face slapped on there that look and sound like that person, or phone calls. There was recently a case in Germany, I believe it was, where an executive's voice was spoofed to call the CFO of a different company and convince him with the CEO's voice to wire money. How do we protect against that? What kind of identification measures are out there? Is there anything in the industry we can do that can automate or technology solve this problem automatically? And his answer was no, not at this time. There is no way to automate our defense against this attack. AI-powered malware, imagine a virus that just because it gets blocked by your antivirus, it adapts. It thinks, okay, I got blocked this way, and it reprograms itself, or it rewrites itself, or it changes tactics. That is coming and is already here in some capacity. And automated contextual awareness attacks. We already talked about spear phishing. We're talking about an AI bot that just writes convincing emails over and over and over. And all it takes for that hacker to win is to get you to click the link, or your employees to click the link. And they have full remote access. You should check out our newsletter for August coming out in the near future. I posted on LinkedIn. Zero-click malware is a thing now. You can click on an email and single link, and they have full remote control of your computer. So if that's the only thing they needed to win, we have a problem. Your old grandma's version of buy a little antivirus, do a little bit of managed updates, call the local IT guy. This is not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it in this day and age. So you got to ask yourself, is now the time to manage your risk? And if so, where do you start? Is now the time to manage your risk? Where do you start? How do you, I'm talking to you as the business owner or the business leader of the insurance field, brokerage, agency, you name it, make the right decision? You need to get the facts. When I take out an insurance policy for my business, let's talk business insurance for a second. And I have a local agency I work with. I look at my realistic risks based on real data and to determine what kind of coverages I get. For example, I am a cybersecurity and IT firm. I give people professional advice all the time. I carry errors and omissions insurance. I carry professional liability insurance because I'm giving people professional advice. Why did I make that decision? Because I know I have risk in that field because I have the facts. You need facts to do proper risk management. You need to identify your current risk exposure. A cybersecurity risk assessment should include the following: a professional consulting engagement with somebody who actually knows about the field of AI and cybersecurity and the threats that it poses to your business. It should investigate the current security and find what you have, if anything, in place. It should determine your individual risk exposure, how susceptible you are to this kind of attack. Not everyone is equal. Different people have different levels of risk, and it needs to be able to tell you what your level is. It needs to look at how likely your staff or employees are to enabling or furthering attacks. Cyber criminals hang out for 4 months once they get the initial access. They usually utilize an employee or two to escalate their privileges and get to where they need to go. It needs to identify physical or procedural weaknesses. Is there something on how you're doing something in your business that could enable an attack? A great example of this is, do you have an official policy in your business of how you manage paying vendors? If you pay your bills on time, maybe you have it on automatic repeat. Maybe you pay somebody once a month via check. What happens if that person gets hacked and someone calling you or your assistant calls in and says, "Hey, I need you to change where the invoice goes"? Sure, I'll send the check wherever you want, or sure, I'll wire the money, or sure, I'll pay whatever you want. You need to, if you guys haven't already done that, I always recommend setting up a procedure of how you change payment information to vendors and receive payments. You also need to identify the most likely at-risk business assets. Is it your data? Is it your uptime? Do you have confidential information, like people's personal information? If you're in the insurance field, you probably do. Do you have intellectual property that makes your business unique that if it got out there could hurt your bottom line? These are the things you need to know and identify. This is a little small, which is why I blew up my screen, but this is my personal firm, Tabernacle Technology Solutions, current cybersecurity risk assessment process. First, we sit down with you, whether via Zoom or via an in-person interview, and we meet you and we get to know you and ask you questions about your business. You are not just another name. You're not just another business to us. You are an individual. You are unique because your business is unique. We ask you about what security policies, if any, you have in place, and take a look at them honestly and give you real feedback. We'll take a look at the physical environment. If you have a physical office, we'll walk around, see what computers there are, servers. Sometimes we'll do this digitally. Sometimes we'll do this in person. Just depends on the business, obviously. We'll look at the network and the data. Now, the network is a misleading number. A lot of people think, well, I don't have an office. I work from home. I do this. I don't have a quote unquote network. Sure you do. The cloud is a network. It's a network of SaaS applications, software as a service. Do you use Google Drive? Do you use Microsoft 365? Did you know in the terms and conditions of Microsoft 365 for Outlook, they specifically say any cyber attack done with your user credentials, they're not liable for? So if someone gets your password, they have no obligation to defend you. On top of that, they recently amended their terms and service saying if you cause a cyber attack and you with your password, they reserve the right to sue you. A lot of these companies, people assume because they're in the cloud, they're safe. They're not protecting anything. The cloud is just somebody else's computer. So you want to make sure that computer is being run properly and properly secured. You want to look at your intellectual property. Where are the crown jewels? Do you have anything that makes you unique? And make sure that's properly locked down. User and systems reviews. We want to take a look at the staff. Are they doing good user habits? How do we do that? Well, the next two tie into that. We want to make sure that the dark web. Did you know there's an entire internet out there that's called the dark web? It's what criminals use. They can post things, they can sell tools, they can sell things they've stolen, passwords, user credentials, social security numbers. It's very, very difficult, if not almost impossible to trace. And it operates like, it almost looks like a 2008 version of the internet. They have forums, they have support groups, the list goes on and on. So you want to make sure nothing's already out there that you're not aware of that could be used and weaponized against you. A great example of this is a lot of times I'll do this assessment and I'll find out someone on your staff hasn't changed their password in 10 years. They're using the same password that got breached in 08 that they were using with their MySpace account on the computers and platforms today, maybe Easy Links or whatever platform used to underwrite policies. They're using that password. Team behavior test. We're going to simulate an AI powered cyber attack. And we're going to see if we can get users to fall for various scenarios. Not because we want to shame them, but because we want to see where they're at in an educational standpoint. I'll pause there for a second. Doesn't look like we have any questions in the chat yet. I'm just going to refresh here. Sometimes I got to do that. Nope, we're all set. We present the finding and recommendations confidentially to the owners or the leaders of the various businesses, whoever the business is authorized to be the representative in this matter. There is a written report, an executive briefing, and of course a presentation. We're not just going to spit technical jargon at you, because technical jargon isn't going to teach you your risk. It isn't going to give you the data you need. The best consultations, no matter who I go to in whatever professional field, are the people who can take a nuanced and complex topic and put it in plain speak. When I go to my doctor, I appreciate my doctor because he doesn't just try to go into the medical jargon, and he actually breaks down whatever I'm seeing him about in a way I can understand and fully comprehend. Same with my attorney, same with my tax accountant, same with my insurance agent. They break things down and help me understand. We do the same with this report. We break it down and make it understandable for the person we're presenting it to in a way they can take it and make educated decisions we're planning around. The consultation is meant to help your executives plan the risk management strategy for your company. We want to give you the information you need to empower yourself to defend against this new world of AI-powered attacks. Worm GPT is just the start. We have been seeing for years a huge uptick in cybercrime and a huge uptick in cyber attacks. Just last month, we saw several governments get taken offline thanks to the Move It breach. The government of Nova Scotia, for example, ransomware. The Department of Energy, ransomware. Big businesses out in Virginia, ransomware. I was reading about actually a life insurance brokerage in Virginia that the hackers who managed to ransomware them, posted their data online to the clear internet just to shame other companies into paying them. This threat is growing. Well, where do I start, right? Where do we start? Maybe I'm not ready for the full-blown risk assessment. Well, if you're not ready for the full-blown risk assessment, that is completely fine. We're actually going to give you a freebie. Take our free mini risk quiz or assessment. There's a QR code on the screen. Let me go ahead actually and put this on the main camera. You can also go to cyber.tabernacle.tech/quiz to get to that. Again, that's cyber.tabernacle.tech/quiz. It is absolutely free, no strings attached, mini risk assessment, as well as proactive strategies on how to defend your business against this. We're a big believer around here of empowering other businesses. So you can scan the QR code or go to cyber.tabernacle.tech/quiz to get your free mini risk assessment. If you are ready to take that next step, to go for the full-blown cybersecurity risk assessment, to take power back into your hands and defend your business, you can scan this QR code. This we are offering, as well as the free mini risk assessment, a free cyber strategy session. That is a dedicated half-hour appointment, no cost, no commitment, for you to talk about your cybersecurity concerns as it relates to AI or any other cybersecurity or IT concerns. You can go ahead and scan the QR code or go to cyber.tabernacle.tech/cyber strategy session. Again, that's cyber.tabernacle.tech/cyber strategy session. And you can go ahead and schedule an appointment with us. It's a dedicated confidential Zoom call. And we would want to go ahead and just learn about you and ask questions and get to know each other. Real quick, gonna check the chat one more time. I think we're good on chat. If you have any questions, if you have any kind of concerns, we are an open book. Our entire mission here at Tabernacle Technology Solutions, as it relates to the insurance field, is to empower leaders in the insurance industry to take power into their own hands, to take risk management into their own hands. They are experts at managing risk. It's what they do. But before you can manage your risk, you need to understand your risk and you need to be able to quantify it and you need to be able to look at it and deal with it to make educated decisions. If I came to you and said, hey, I need insurance, and then I didn't tell you anything else as an insurance agent, you'd be going, you could need car insurance, you could need general liability insurance. What do you mean, Logan? What do you mean? You need data to know where your risk is and how do you manage it. You can always check us out at our website, tabernacle.tech. And again, cyber.tabernacle.tech/quiz for our free mini risk assessment. This is Logan Edmonds, CEO of Tabernacle Technology Solutions. Have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. And stay safe out there, guys. It's getting more and more scary. Take care.